Hey, and welcome back to another episode of AZ Update. I'm your host, Anthony Bartolo, joined as always by Sarah Lane, who wasn't here last week, and we were, nice enough to have Sonia Cuff, who was out at midnight, her time, to join us. Sarah, glad to have you back. What happened last weekend? What were you up to?
I was doing a secret filming show that's going to happen in a couple of weeks' time, so can't say anything more than that. But yeah, I was filming something with another team.
Very cool. So something that will come up possibly at Ignite, we don't know, which is really cool. But what's awesome is that you brought a news story with you, which is really cool. And producer Pierre and I were like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" So let's talk about it really quickly. Take it away in terms of what it is.
So I was reading the news stories this week, and I spotted that scientists have been playing video games with pigs. So they've set up this video game with kind of reward if the pigs complete a puzzle, they get fed, which is interesting because I don't think pigs have the greatest eyesight. So they've managed to actually train or get the pigs to do this video game. But what's also interesting about this is that the feed part of the machine broke. But what happened was the pigs still came up to it and the scientists believe that it was the social contact, the kind of calming voice, encouraging voice from the scientists saying, good morning, hello, have a wee go at the game. So yeah, it was interesting just to see that they're looking at how they can better interact with our animals and make their welfare better. And I thought it was also cool because of the whole video game thing, because we're all video game geeks in the team. So yeah.
And that's the thing, right? So I definitely look at this and say, well, my eyesight is not as good as it used to be either. So is Pierre's. So we're both squinting at the screen while we're playing Call of Duty. But it's interesting that the Pierre is screaming in the back end saying, "Hey, no, I'm not that. I can see." The interesting piece with this is the social interaction, right? I'm so grateful that I have yourself and Pierre and Rick and others that we have this ability to game together. We have been doing a lot of Call of Duty. There's been a little bit of Fortnite in there too. I'm hoping to get the racing going in the Forza Horizon. That's my favorite. Paul Jensen wants to do head-to-head on Pong. I've actually been dabbling a lot in that too, in terms of the older games, ColecoVision and Atari and stuff like that, which has been really cool as well. Then there's ways to play over the network for those type of games. The interesting thing with this is this social aspect of it, and the fact that we're in this pandemic and it's a new opportunity. Well, it's been around for a while, but it's something where a lot of people have gravitated towards in terms of gaming, and it's just a common goal that you're trying to achieve with your team, and it's a lot of fun. I wish I got fed every time we won a match. I'd probably starve because we never really win. It might be a great way to lose weight is to be fed when you've won a game, because it never happens. But the whole aspect of it is it's just the fun, right? You're having this great old time. We have to have another game. The time zone thing is very challenging. I think we're a 5-hour difference, but we both have snow. It's snowing outside right now. I think we've got about almost 2.5 feet of snow coming in right now.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, wow. It's coming down hard. We got to plan those times for us to game. It's just hilarious. It's that's the whole thing. You forget about everything else. You have a great old time. We do talk about tech sometimes while we're gaming, and it brings up an interesting point, because I've seen a lot of streams now, live streams coming on, where you have like-minded individuals that are passionate about technology, passionate about learning about enablement of services and what have you, and they're talking about this while playing video games. And it's an interesting thing, because you're concentrating on the game, but you're talking about tech, and obviously you can't run a live demo, or you could, I guess, if you were playing Minecraft and you set up this whole network, and you could in essence do that way. But it's an interesting new paradigm that people are exploring in terms of having those conversations over gaming with other individuals, and it's something we'll see how that grows beyond the pandemic, right? So who knows where we'll go from there. Sarah, your thoughts?
I'm not a fan of watching other people play video games, I'll be honest. I would rather play them myself and then shout at the screen and throw my controller about. But but yeah, if people enjoy watching other people play games, then that's go for it. I'm not going to criticize you from that, but it's not my personal thing. I like I say, I'd rather play the game and break controllers and throw them through the wall and stuff like that. So yeah.
I watch sometimes purely from the aspect of to learn how to play the game, because now, you know, a couple of years back, I could beat my son handedly in, let's say, EA Sports NHL 2010, 2011. And now it's gotten so complicated in terms of the sequences that you need to do, and he's mastered it. And I'm still trying to figure out how to get my goalie to slide across the other side of the net. And so I'll watch the videos. This just here's what you need to know if you're a dad trying to beat your son. And literally they have videos to that extent. If you're a dad trying to beat your son at this game, this is what you need to know. I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's watch this video. But yeah, there's a lot of people that watch the live streams for pure entertainment of watching an individual play a game, which is also interesting as well. So
yeah, I suppose it's the new version of read the manual, right? Like, who wants to read the manual? I'll just go on a platform and watch someone else stream and figure it out from there. So at least we're reading the manuals though, right? At least we're reading the manuals.
I don't think I've read a manual on a video game for a long time, though. I think they just sit in the box. They look pretty. But it's interesting because then what is the difference in terms of the correlation of watching a video on how to learn how to play a video game to, you know, watching a demo on somebody at a service like Azure File Share or, you know, Azure Security Center. You know, like both aspects are very similar in terms of understanding how to, you know, grasp new concepts or adoption of new technology. Yes, I'd argue, you know, in some situations where you're watching a streamer just play and they're not, you know, they're not sharing with you the details in terms of what they're actually accomplishing. I've sat down with my son when he's watched the live stream, and for him, it's been, he's watching the way that the individual approaches a situation, approaches the angles, even if that individual doesn't go in detail the steps, which is what I need. And so that's why I watch specific videos on how to do, you know, specific steps. So it's interesting, you know, in terms of the similarities of the technology being showcased and how it's approaching an opportunity with technology from a watch me do it perspective. And some people learn that way, and some people learn via steps that are detailed out. There's a lot of people talking about the weather and how cold it is where they are. Is there anybody in a warm destination? Well, -1 in Berlin. That's pretty warm for me. It's almost shorts weather, another 5 degrees. Let's get started with the news. We've gone really off tangent this morning. Sarah, you're up first.
Yes, so first piece of news is about Azure file shares and soft deletion, or soft delete, if you want to call it that. But basically what this is it enables you to have a kind of backup or other repository for things that are getting deleted. So we've all been to that place where we've deleted a file on our file share and realized it was the wrong file that we deleted. And then you potentially have to log a call with the IT department. They have to go and get a backup. Hopefully the backup's there, all that kind of good stuff. But what this feature now allows you to do is have that soft deletion kind of retention policy. So it's a lot easier for you to pull back something that's been accidentally deleted. And you can set the retention policy for this soft delete. So I think it's minimum of 1 day all the way up to 365 days at the moment. Now you can turn this feature on when you create a storage account. So it's at the high level of your storage account. So it's turned on for the full storage account and every subsequent Azure file share underneath it. Or you can retrospectively turn it on as well for your file shares if you want to start using it. Now, the one caveat I would say about this is there is a price attached to this based on how much data you're storing. So if you're storing soft deletion for up to 365 days, it could have quite a bit of an impact within your bill. So I would turn it on. Definitely sounds like an interesting feature, and hopefully it would help you get files that have been accidentally deleted back quicker. But do watch that because it could have an impact on your bill. So, you know, maybe turn it on for 7 days to start with, see how it impacts your organization and your bill, and then take it from there and see if you want to continue using it. But sounds like a cool feature, don't you think, Anthony?
Oh, 100%. You know, it's something where you can empower the user that if they've deleted a file, you know, to bring back that file. You know, happens all the time. I remember my early days in IT. File gets deleted, a call comes down, I got to find the DLT tape, put it into the drive, extract it. What an ordeal. It's balancing though the cost and the convenience of acquiring that file, right? So there's obviously a cost if there's a soft delete protect on any of the files that you have. is something that your organization sees value in, you're obviously going to go forward and implement that solution. But, great suggestion in regards to tests to see what the uptick in cost is going to be. I wondered, is this calculation also available in the Azure cost calculator? Do you know if that's something available in there?
I'm not sure. I did try to have a look for the pricing information and I couldn't find it specifically on the pricing page, but that might just be me not finding it correctly. So if anybody does find the pricing, then please do let us know and we can share that to the wider community as well. But yeah, I don't know the exact details.
Yeah, no, and that's great. So if anybody knows in terms of if this has been added to the cost calculator, if you can add it in the comments here on the YouTube channel or on Learn TV under Pubble, let us know if you found it. We'd love to share that out on your behalf. That here's the specific location. Again, if it's something where your organization can budget that type of capability, it's hugely important for that sensitive files that could have been deleted by accident, especially if multiple people are accessing that file share, and quickly bringing it back is a huge benefit. Let's continue on with the news. Next up, connecting Azure to the International Space Station with Hewlett Packard Enterprise. I really, really, really like this news story. And the reason why I like this news story is because you're not only enabling the International Space Station with the ability to do artificial intelligence, machine learning, deduction of the sensory around it in terms of everything that's going on in space, conducting of experiments in space. It's being done in such a way where it's all happening on the edge. The space station, partnership with Microsoft and Hewlett Packard, is building out this solution that allows for the whole testing of weather modeling, what's happening around the Earth, plant and hydroponic analysis. Can we grow food in space? Medical imaging, ultrasound to support astronaut health. What I love about this story is it doesn't specifically call out this is a developer initiative. This is an IT pro initiative. This story really highlights, hey, this is something where we've come together in partnership with Hewlett Packard to build out the solution. In essence, it's Azure on the edge, and the edge is in space on the space station, that allows for calculation, connotation of the situation that is going on in the space station itself for those experiments specifically. Still connecting back to Earth in terms of the results and storing of those results for other deductions down the road. But everybody coming together for a common goal to understand the environmental specific to those experiments, utilizing artificial intelligence. There's no delineation between who's doing what. It's the whole aspect of here's the common goal that we're trying to accomplish and how everybody comes in, participates together to get this done. This is actually part of a solution that Microsoft has put together called Azure Space, which, when I heard of this, I was like, oh, that's pretty crazy in terms of this whole initiative. There's a full-on architecture made available. And if you get a chance to check this out, we've put this on our blog, and it goes through all the initiatives that we've done thus far. This new one with the International Space Station is actually launching next week on February the 20th. And the work has already been done. The Spaceborne Computer 2 or SBC2 is going to be deployed on the 20th up in space. And I love the fact that it's beyond just the tech. It's about the enablement of everybody coming together, having the ability to do the calculations up in space and the participation of all the information coming back to Earth, the better, everybody here on Earth in terms of results. Sarah, your thoughts on this?
I'm just blown away by the technology that we're now extended up into space and stuff. That's just like, moo.
And
like that's the proper edge, right? Like that's not just an edge case, it's the real edge.
It's just another endpoint. Yeah, don't worry. It's just between here and the moon, and it's another endpoint that's out in space. No big deal, right? Now, this is me also putting in the IoT play because, and Sarah's like, "Oh, you think really?" It's the whole aspect of IoT in space, edge computing. This is it's not your traditional computer that's up there. It's calculating and capturing all this information. I say this a lot. IoT is edge computing is also an opportunity for IT professionals to participate. Here's a prime example of where this is going, right? Sarah, did you want to go into space one day and help out with that?
I don't know.
I had a hard enough time getting you on a roller coaster. Never mind going out to space.
I'm just worrying about how much Cat 5 you need to roll up to make all that connected, and who's
Can you imagine the cable you'd have to bring up there? You're not wrong. That's what's amazing for me is like I said, right? The whole aspect of doing computing on the edge, right? They don't have the details here. There must be Azure Stack HCI enabled on this computer or something to that effect to do the edge calculation, the edge capturing of information. And then with the limited bandwidth that they have, because I don't think we have a Cat 5 going up there. That'd be so International Space Station get gathered by Cat 5. You could tow vehicles with a Cat 5 with some of the Cat 5 cables. Why not have it tethered to the space station? Let's go for it. The whole aspect of Cat 8, Steven is like, hey, use Cat 8. It's interesting to see this take hold, and that we have this endpoint in space now. When we're going to have our starships and being able to do warp drives and the whole thing. That'd be cool. I'm looking forward to that. Let's continue on with the news. Sarah, you're up next.
Yes, back down on Earth, we're talking about the new generation of Power BI Embedded. And I think it's getting called Embedded Gen 2. Now, Power BI Embedded is something slightly different from Power BI if you're not aware of it. So what Power BI Embedded is allowing you to take the Power BI features and functionality and embedding it into, say, an application you're making. So if you're developing an application and you want to share insights and some data, you don't have to write your own application or extra components to do that. You can use Power BI and then kind of put under your app and expose it to your users. So your users don't know it's Power BI. They don't need a Power BI license. They don't need to log into the Power BI portal. It's just kind of embedded into your application. And what we've got here now is the preview of the Gen 2 version. And we're seeing enhanced performance with this and some improvements as well. So when you're scaling up your Power BI instance in the Azure portal, there's no outages, there's no downtime. I think with Gen 1, there was a bit of an outage when you scaled up or scaled down. Well, it changed in the background, but the team have made that better by the looks of it in Gen 2. So not necessarily something I'm massively aware of, but another bit of cool tech to be aware of if you're developing applications and you want to get some of that functionality with Power BI, because I love Power BI dashboards. I love the data and the ability to drill into that data and find out what you need. I hate making them myself, but Power BI Embedded is obviously a good thing if you want to take the advantage of that Power BI kind of mechanism and functionality. Anthony, you like a Power BI dashboard every now and again, don't you?
So the funny thing with me is it's every morning I'm on my Power BI dashboard. It's in essence my newspaper in terms of where my day is going to go in terms of the data that we capture. A big piece of our responsibility as cloud advocates is we have to be out in social media and talking to individuals. And it's not even a responsibility. We love doing it. This is something that we enjoy doing, just like the show. We enjoy talking to everybody that's in the chat rooms, both on Learn TV and on YouTube and on Twitch and on Facebook. The thing with us, though, is there's a lot, and there's only 8 of us on the team. And so the Power BI dashboards that we have really go out and have that, capturing that, what's the sentiment of the technologies that are out there? Is there something that's of a great challenge to a lot of people that we need to address right away? It allows us to be more precise. Now, the Discord server that we've introduced of late too, and if you want to join us on that, it's aka.ms/ITOpsTalk-Discord, has been another great venue for information coming in for us to have those conversations. But it's more precise in that respect. So the wider scale social media piece, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Reddit, you name it, it's a lot harder for us to pinpoint where the challenges everybody has. And so the Power BI dashboard for us has been a great indicator of what's going on, where are people having challenges that we can pinpoint and address right away. Maybe it's missing documentation, what have you. I argue that's my newspaper every morning, right? That's I have a coffee, I watch the Power BI dashboard, and go through it and see where's the opportunity for today. So the fact that the ability to scale up and scale down to get information even quicker to you. I know we have in a couple of dashboards we have, it's like a 48 to 72 hour update on data, which is challenging. So the fact that it's a lot easier to scale up and down now with the new Gen 2, awesome. I can't wait to see that come into production for us.
Cool. Cool bean. So what's the next news story you have for us, Anthony?
Next one up, we're going to go back into IoT. And so the new availability on Azure IoT Central now has the capability of running jobs on IoT devices from IoT Central. This is gone GA. It was in public preview up till last week. Up till early this week. It's now gone public preview. This is a huge one for me. My first project on IoT was the mousetrap solution, where you take Raspberry Pis and connect it to a mousetrap. Actually, I have it right behind me right there. It's still on display, still works. We deployed 100 of these over at one of the Microsoft campuses to see, what the data that we can pull from the mousetraps themselves. At that time, when we had to do a update to the functionality of the mousetrap, we had to deploy a third-party application called the Hockey app, which doesn't exist anymore. And it was a separate application that we would utilize to push out run commands of file repositories on the mousetraps themselves to update the OS or the functionality or whatever that may be specific to the mousetrap itself. The fact that I can now push this out, this job can be pushed out from IoT Central, from a centralized place that I manage all my IoT devices from, that is huge in regards to taking a lot less time to update all my devices, having a centralized location to understand what OS levels are these devices running at, and making sure that everything is kept up to date. And when it's pushed down to me that, hey, you need to update this functionality in the mousetrap to now capture X type of data, I can do so directly from IoT Central. That for me is a huge opportunity to see everything from a centralized piece of glass and understand that, from a perspective of managing these devices, I don't have to be hopping all over the place with separate applications to do so.
Cool. I'm starting to think the amount of chat you give me about IoT, Anthony, I need to go and sit the exam because I could probably pass it.
I need to do the exam myself. I was there for the beta launch. It's been so busy, and I do have to take the time to do an exam. I'm actually waiting for the pandemic to be over. I know you can do the exams from home, but it's been such an interesting change from when we were traveling and talking to people in person, and now it's harder for us to talk to people in person. So a lot of the activities that I've been doing, and I know a lot of yourself and others on the team, producer Pierre as well, it's a lot more effort to do the connection with people. We love it, and we don't want to stop it. But it has unfortunately put pause on a lot of things. And certification, like I believe the IoT exam is the AZ220. I do definitely want to take that up. I do want to get that passed, and the AZ500 too is of interest to me. That's the security one, if I remember correctly, right? Those are definitely two that I want to get done. But it's something where I learn by hands-on, and so doing these type of projects is something of great interest to me. And that's why when I hear about IoT advantages, I used to play with Lego. Heck, I still play with Lego. I think I have my Lego robots back there still. I love doing the hands-on stuff, and that's why it's of interest. That's why I talk about it so much, because it's so cool. Not that anything else is cool. Everything is cool. It's just being a former mechanic, well, still a mechanic. I love working with my hands, which is cool. And that's how I correlate my love for tech and my love for learning by doing hands-on. Let's do a quick hello to everybody that's in the chat room. There's a lot of people online today. We have Stephen Inns is here. Paul Jensen is here. We have Andrew McCullum. How's it going, Andrew? We have, who else do we have here? Mateus, all the way from Berlin. How's it going, Mateus? A lot of people chatting on the room. I know producer Pierre is chatting on there as well, talking about his old trusty Texas Instrument TI-30X. Wow, we're going back in time. Let's talk really quickly about the events that are coming up. First up is Microsoft Ignite. If you haven't done so already, if you go to myignite.microsoft.com, you can go in and you can register. Now it is coming up quick. It's March 2nd to the 4th. All of us have been heads down in filming content for Ignite. I have a couple of videos coming out. I know Sarah has a couple of videos coming out. So does producer Pierre. So this is something where we're all excited about in terms of the new announcements that are coming out. It's interesting that we're doing a second offering of Ignite. There's just so much going on in the behind the scenes in regards to this preparation, and everybody's running around getting this done. So if you haven't registered yet, definitely go out there and register, which is really cool. The other event that we wanted to bring attention to is the upcoming Azure Admin Jumpstart. if you're getting your toes dipped into water for the adoption of cloud, this is a great opportunity to hear from the PMs directly within the product groups in respect to managing identity and governance, implementing and managing storage, deploying and managing compute resources, configuring and managing virtual networking, and monitoring and backup Azure resources. These are happening on a daily basis starting on February the 22nd. They go for about an hour, and these are live sessions that are being put on by Microsoft, specifically to those that are getting into cloud and to understand how cloud will work with their organization, their on-premises implementation. Very similar to the ITOpsTalks All Things Hybrid event in terms of its similarities. But it's something that you can register for right now, get online and take advantage of this opportunity to further upskill yourself in regards to technologies in terms of the cloud. Producer Pierre loves the term upskilling. It's almost as bad as my term plethora, but he's in the background screaming right now, stop saying skilling. And we've got 4 minutes left, so let's jump really quickly into our Learn module of the week. We know that for Oren Thomas, Node.js is a passion of his in terms of coding. Sarah's laughing now. But Python is growing on a lot of IT professionals almost at par with PowerShell. And so the whole aspect of the enablement of Python and the upskilling on Python is of great interest to a lot of IT professionals. What a great way to tie in what we've talked about in terms of Microsoft Azure Space and the participation with the International Space Station for computing on the edge, then to bring a highlight to this Learn module that specifically runs through a story of a space center that's having issues out in space, and to solve the problems, the coding is done in Python to understand what needs to be achieved in addressing the opportunities that are being seen in space. And this was done in partnership with NASA. So this is a really cool Learn module that takes you through hands-on labs to use Python to solve problems or address opportunities of those that are in space. So do check this out. It's available. A link is available on ITOpsTalks.com on the latest post for AZ Update. And don't say I'm not a coder, I'm not a developer, this is not for me. If you dive into PowerShell, Python is very similar in terms of its code set, and it's a great opportunity. A lot of IT professionals are taking advantage of the Python capabilities, even in automation for infrastructure and in IT roles. Sarah, interested in this? And there's no IoT involved, I don't think, in this one. So, but let me know what you think.
This one has been on my radar because I like the fact that there's a story behind it. So rather than just saying, put in this Python command and it does X, and then you move on to the next one and they show you another command, there's actually a story behind it. So I assume you'll end up maybe fixing a problem or having something built at the end of it. So that kind of learning module is absolutely the kind that I enjoy doing. I just need to find 3 or 4 hours to dedicate to actually doing it, which is easier said than done right now.
Yes. Well, this might be the catalyst to get you up in space, because you might be, excited about.
He's trying to get rid of me, people. He's trying to get rid of me.
No, come on. No, never. Sarah, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of you on socials?
You can find me at Twitter at TechieLass on Twitter. That's where to find me.
And if you want to get a hold of producer Pierre, you can find him on Twitter at WiredCanuck. And if you want to get a hold of me for some reason, you can find me on Twitter at WirelessLife. Sarah, what an awesome show today. We talked a lot about space. We'll talk a little bit about IoT. Have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody back next Friday.